So we have RS4 delivered 15 plate with potential engine damage. Okay, I don't see anything stuck like big chunks or something will be telling us there is a damage so far. And I don't see anything what will tell us that the engine completely failed. Normally this will be full of metal and bronze and whatever. We found the problem. It's just a spark plug.
Several months later.
And welcome back to the channel, guys, at VAG Technique in West Midlands. So, you've probably seen the first video. If you didn't see the first video, I'll leave the link in the description. So this is the probably most cheapest RS4 what you can buy. It was spares or repairs, as you probably know. And unfortunately, there is some internal damage. Meanwhile, watching this video, you can actually leave us a comment what you think will be the damage in the cylinder. We already know that the engine is turning. It will not do, unfortunately, the whole 360 degrees what engines usually should do. So in this video, mainly I will put the camera over there on the top. I'll do some time lapse. We will be removing the engine. We will be stripping it down to the bare bolt, and we will be counting the damage. Okay, guys, so we stripped the engine down from the RS4, and unfortunately serious shit happened. For some reason the piston have a hole in it over there. I don't think that's for extra lubrication, only one of them have it somehow. And this is, except this, what we found inside. So the scary bit is the coil spring or the valve spring, because this is not normal, and I don't think this is broken from the damage. I think what happened that this spring went, that means the valve drop, which means there was a heavy metal concept going on. The engine wants to have forged valves, which didn't work out, unfortunately, and all this was inside the cylinder head, so very sad condition. And I'm not sure what we will do, because this cylinder head don't seems to be like a repairable cylinder head, but you never know, 21st century, somebody can work out the magic. However, if we will go ahead, I will definitely recommend to replace all the valve springs, because if one went, any of them can go anytime. so there's no point changing 1, 2. Speaking of the rest of the engine, well, this piston is not repairable. I don't think somebody can repair it. We will need definitely a new piston. Also, the block is damaged, unfortunately, so we will need to put a liner in the block. I'm not sure what's the conrod like, but if we will do something, we will definitely put a new conrod as well. Typical problem, what we've seen many times before. Miroslav was gentle as much as possible, but it didn't work out because the solenoid valve for the camshaft adjuster just broke off. Reason why, because it's rusty on the bottom and there are like just 4 pins holding it pressed together. So if the body is basically stuck to the head, it will go. So we will need to get 2 valves. We will probably need to get a cylinder head or repair this one. I'm not sure if we will be able to repair it. Also, injector, which used to be over there, has a bit of a damage, so we will need 1 new injector. And also, unfortunately, typical problem. Hey, Miroslav is driving the car in the workshop. These are the catalytic converters. Well, used to be. This is how they looks like. I'm not sure if you can see them, but the catalytic converter is just a matter of part till it'll let go. So I don't know what the owner actually wants to do, because he bought the car cheap, I'm not saying, but you need to sort out the catalytic converters one way or the other, because that's engine out. If you want to bust them out, replace them, it's part of the manifold. And there is a big bill coming towards the whole bare engine, I suppose, and that's before we actually hear it running, driving, because this come here as a non-runner. As you've seen, we couldn't even turn the engine 360 degrees, what the engine usually should turn 360 degrees. And that's before we put everything together, put it in, and there may be some suspension noise. I'm not sure about the brakes, shock absorbers, and so on and so on and so on and so on. So I have to speak with the owner of the vehicle, see what will be the decision, but it needs like really loads of work. Meanwhile, we will have to strip down the whole block. We definitely want to check with Miroslav if actually something is internally not damaged. So all that gotta be checked out, and we'll give you an update. Okay guys, so we stripped everything down. We have only the engine block left with the bearings. Everything was removed, and as you can tell, the engine is pretty much clean. The owner was actually quite lucky because it wasn't really far away from complete catastrophic failure. From the top the piston looked sad. From the other side it's even worse, because you can see that actually the valve, or part of the valve, almost get through the piston, which will be a catastrophic failure, and I think that will be huge damage to the engine block, which will be not repairable anymore. At this point we can actually put 1 liner in. The whole repair will be done very budget friendly. Reason why, if you have to do absolutely everything like 8 liners and everything new, it will be way too much money. So we will try to actually do all this in a budget of second-hand engine, and obviously plus fitting. So second-hand engine for these vehicles are anything between 8,000 to 10,000 pounds, which is not low price for these engines, but that's the only way you can get. There are a few in Germany, again low mileage, but you have to pay import tax because Brexit, thank you very much. and I think this will be probably cheaper or maybe same price to repair it. However, unexpected thing is the cylinder head, which we thought won't be in a sad stage as it is because of this. I think the thread for the spark plug can be repaired, it's not a problem. The only thing what I'm afraid of is actually the seat for the inlet valve. So that looks in a really sad condition, and I'm not sure if this cylinder head will be actually repairable. So option number 2 will be get a second-hand cylinder head and just get that one done. Question now is, what we don't know yet, if the valve actually has quite a big play in the guide inside, and again it just fell off and it went into the cylinder, it done all the damage. Or option number 2, the spring for the valve broke, which means it was free to actually fall in. So these are the 2 theoretical questions what we actually fighting right now. Typical after 60,000 miles, the combustion chamber is pretty much carbon, which is not the best. However, I don't think that in this case the carbon is the main reason why the engine actually failed. So it is very interesting, but we will try to get to the bottom of it. I will ask Roy, who's doing the cylinder heads for us and everything, if he can actually strip down the cylinder head when I'm gonna drop it and check what's the play in the guides for the inlet valves mainly. And if we will be doing them, we will replace them for iron cast one, not for the shitty material. So I didn't find any internal damage. You see it in the first video that actually the sump was clean, which I was surprised because I was expecting when we can't turn the engine that one of the conduit bearing actually spun and seized up. Crankshaft, I don't see any visual damage, is nice and shiny, so actually that was spinning freely in the engine block, so I don't see any problem with it. However, the only thing are the bearings. These center ones looks good, they are equally worn out. However, the one for the flywheel and the front crank pulley has a significant sign of tear and wear on one side, same as on the bottom plate for the crank. Mainly here you can probably see that the crank wasn't even touching this bit, and only this part of the bearing is actually worn out a bit, and it's opposite on the other side. So we will get the crank checked anyways before I go into the car. Probably it will be balanced, I don't know, but mainly we have to figure out how much will it be. So I'm gonna drop everything to the machine shop. We have to get the prices from Mr. Roy. We will pass it on to the customer, see what he will say, and we're gonna take it from there. So in the next video, we will, option number 1, put everything in the boot and the car will go with no engine. See you later. Or option number 2, everything what you see will be refurb, put it back together, make everything necessary to put it back together so the engine is running, which will be still quite loads of things. Bearing, shells, new bolts, you can see all these gaskets on the engine block, new head gasket, head bolts, probably timing chains, silly stuff like spark plugs, check the injectors, we still didn't check the catalytic converters, funny thing, and so on and so on and so on. So that's the update of the B8.5 RS4. So you've seen the process of stripping, you've seen the damage, you've seen what it takes to actually, take the engine apart as you see it now. It is time consuming, especially we try to check everything so we can actually price up exactly what's need to be replaced, done, refurb, what we can use, what needs to be replaced necessarily, what we don't have to replace, because every component which is still usable and don't have any faults or damage is basically saving the customer the money. And also the knowledge what we have from the previous cars, we try to use it every single time. So components like oil pump in this case, I think it will be fine to use. The one cylinder head basically just need refurbishment, just the other one we will see what the machine shop will say. We have to count on the word of the machine shop as well. Reason why, because they have the experience and they know the capabilities, what they can repair and where's the point what can be repaired and have to be replaced for a second hand or new one. In this case, the engine will be built in a certain budget, so the owner have a certain budget already. However, the damage of the cylinder head is a bit bigger than we were expecting. And also there are a few bits and bobs on top what will need to be replaced, unfortunately. So I'm probably gonna put everything in my wonderful Passat now. I'm gonna take it to the machine shop, see what will be the outcome. So everything what you see in here will be actually checked by the machine shop. Well, block, crankshaft, the cylinder heads. I will disassemble the pistons from the con rods and everything. That will be visually checked. And from that, I mean, most of the things like gaskets, there's no way around, they gotta be replaced, head gasket, bolts, probably a few additional things which are really hard to be accessed when the engine is inside. So we would like to build the engine the way, so it will only need like oil changes for next couple of years. It is a fault what we already have a few times before. So basically there are a bit of issues with the valves, all the springs, we're not sure yet, but basically when we're doing the cylinder heads or when the machine shop is doing the cylinder heads, they're doing everything. So basically they provide us a warranty on what they do. I think I'm gonna end the video here, guys. I'll probably see you in the next one. We will see what will be the outcome with this. Maybe it will end up in the boot, you never know. And thank you for watching and we'll see you in the next video, guys. So take care for now.